Hello, and welcome to the Telescope Show. We laugh, we discover God, and we totally nerd out. Welcome to the show. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson.
And I am Katie Seipel Anderson.
And today we're talking about The Princess Bride, a classic. If you listened to our last episode, you'll know that Katie did not even have a voice last week.
No, I had no voice last week.
And you can probably hear both our voices sound a little haggard. We're still on the road to recovery from this nasty cold that we've been dealing with, but we're feeling better today.
And it was a really great time to snuggle up with a blanket and watch Princess Bride. So,
Right.
all things considered, it's not terrible.
Not too bad at all. Well, Katie, did you know that in this world there are some very strange Christmas dishes?
I guess I assumed so. I'm not surprised that there are strange Christmas dishes.
So Christmas isn't a big holiday in Japan, but apparently in Japan it's become a thing to go out for Kentucky Fried Chicken on Christmas. And so there's a huge waiting list to get in and get fried chicken.
On Christmas?
On Christmas in Japan.
Huh. I mean, that's not a terrible tradition.
No.
Although it is a little sad for the KFC workers. Like their worst day of the year, their busiest day of the year is on Christmas.
Well, this website has a traditional Norwegian Christmas dish, and it is lamb's head.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more of an old school thing, but it was considered a delicacy back in the day for the poor people. You know, you ate the lamb's head. And one of the most interesting things to me was how they went about preparing it. So you would split the head, pull out the brain, soak the brain in water. Then the head would be salted, dried, and then smoked, and then boiled or steamed and eaten.
I mean, I didn't really even want to know that. That's really gross. Merry Christmas. I think we should stop with this weird stuff, because Christmas is supposed to be like a happy, nice time to celebrate Jesus' birth. Here we are talking about like lamb's head preparation.
Looking back at you from the table.
Ugh.
Why?
Okay,
Why?
don't.
What are some of your favorite nice Christmas traditions?
You just put me on the spot. I do like going out and getting a Christmas tree. I think that's kind of fun. And then when we were in Duluth, we'd always go to Bentleyville. That was a fun thing. Here we've got rotary lights.
Going to see a Christmas light display as a family is a fun thing. You always get a good picture, a good family picture.
I think actually on Christmas Day, the way our family works is in the morning we do open presents, but the kids actually have to wait to open the presents until we spend a little time together. Like as a family, and we read the Christmas story, and then they can open the presents. And it's, I don't know, it's just kind of it's usually really early in the morning because the kids are all excited. So kind of a fun time.
Yeah, it is fun.
And usually we have some sort of nice breakfast too.
That's also fun. That gets more and more fun as you get older.
Yeah, the breakfast.
You get more excited about the bacon and and sticky buns. Well, we're not to Christmas yet, and today we're talking about The Princess Bride.
Wait. What's one of your favorite Christmas traditions?
When I was a kid, I loved candy canes, and I would always sneak them off the tree because my family would put them on the tree as decorations, and I would grab them off and eat them secretly.
Oh, they knew.
I'm sure they knew, but I didn't think they knew at the time.
No, they knew.
But yeah, I always loved candy canes as a kid. Not as good as my recently made candy cane flavored pancakes, though.
Yeah, that was an accident, and it tasted like an accident. Although the kids really liked it.
So I made pancakes, and I put vanilla often in my pancakes. I love pancakes. Got to have a little wheat flour to make them more chewy. Ah, so good. And my vanilla was actually peppermint by accident. So yeah, it tasted, when you dunked the pancake in syrup, it really did taste exactly like a candy cane.
The kids loved it.
They did, and they still talk about it. So I guess
maybe that's going to be a new Christmas tradition.
Mission accomplished. Maybe Princess Bride can become a new Christmas tradition for us.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's a good Christmas movie. It's about true love, and Christmas is really kind of about true love as well.
Absolutely.
With God sending his son. To eventually sacrifice himself for us, I mean, that's totally true love. You know, and Christ actually, like, died for our sins. Wesley was only mostly dead, but he did come back to life again. So, I mean, there's a parallel. It's not a perfect parallel, but there's a parallel there. And it was sin and evilness that killed Wesley. It was like that anger and hatred against true love, and that's what killed Jesus too.
I was doing some research for the episode, and I found some really interesting anecdotes from behind the scenes. And there's a really great article that I'll put in the show notes that just has a lot of these anecdotes, but I thought it would be fun to share some of them. So William Goldman, he wrote the novel The Princess Bride in 1973, and he also penned the screenplay for the movie. And he told Entertainment Weekly that he had two little daughters. They were about 7 and 4, and he said, I'm going to write you a story. What do you want it to be about? And one of them said a princess, and the other said a bride. And he said, that'll be the title.
That's awesome.
I thought it was kind of cute.
I love that.
I'm sure a lot of people know this, but the duel that they had, like between Indigo and Wesley, that was all real. No stuntmen. The only part of that had a stuntman was the flip over the bar. Wasn't actually Carrie Elwes.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, according to what I read online.
That's not too surprising. That was a pretty gymnastic-y looking flip.
But what was cool is all the references to like fencing and stuff are all real. They actually studied old medieval fencing manuals that, like, you're using Venetti's defense against me. Oh, I find Capifel cancel. You know, all those are real references to actual fencing techniques.
I love it.
Yeah, so they worked really hard, and that was one of the final scenes they filmed.
It was a good scene.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm not left-handed.
That is one of the quotable lines. But that's probably not the most quoted line.
No, that's true. I'd say one of the most quoted lines is probably marriage.
That's true. Or anybody want a peanut?
Yeah. Did you know that Carrie Elwes filmed many of his scenes with a broken toe?
A broken toe?
Yeah.
Was it his big toe?
Yes, actually it was. Yeah.
Ooh. He kind of like runs around a lot.
I know. I think I figured out that he and the actress who played Buttercup were really close to the same ages as you and I when we got married, actually.
Oh.
True love. Yeah, so the story with the broken toe was that Andre the Giant was so big that he wouldn't fit in the van that they used to haul the cast around. So they had ATVs on the set, and Andre and Carrie were cruising around on ATVs, and Andre convinced Carrie to try to do a spin out. And he did it, and something happened, and he hurt his toe.
So it was like on set, but not. It was messing around.
It was the guys messing around, yeah, pretty much.
Then he's like, don't tell the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, which is exactly what happened. They tried to conceal it.
Did they really?
Yeah. Yeah. But,
how old are they again?
Well, 20s. Another thing I found that was really funny to me was that the scene where the six-fingered man clunks Wesley on the head. They had a hard time with that because he was like kind of, quote, pulling his punches because he didn't want to actually hit the guy in the head with a metal sword. But it just didn't look right. So Wesley says, just try it. Just, give me a tap. So he actually hit him, and it actually knocked him unconscious. Oh, and the scene in the movie is him getting knocked out. They actually used it.
Well, you might as well.
Right.
You can't really get more realistic than that. So, Matt, what's one of your favorite characters?
Well, besides the main characters, like I really love Inigo Montoya, but I think I'd also have to say Miracle Max is a standout, definitely a standout. I read that they spent 3 days, like 3 long days, filming the Miracle Max scenes, and Billy Crystal was just like off the chain with improv, and he just improv'd the whole time.
So he like improv'd all his scenes? Did he not have like a written script then?
I believe he did have a written script, but I don't think he followed it much.
That'd be fun being in the acting scenes with him.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
It sounds like it was like an amazing time.
So what's like a favorite scene?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, there's a scene that's a favorite scene, but it's taken on new significance after I did my learning about this movie, or after I did my research for the movie. The actor who played Inigo Montoya said this: "The moment I read the script, I loved the part of Inigo Montoya. That character just spoke to me profoundly. I had lost my own father. He died at 53 years old from pancreatic cancer in 1972. I didn't think about it consciously, but I think that there was part of me that thought, if I get that man in black, my father will come back. I talked to my dad all the time during filming, and it was very healing for me." So, after hearing that, that was really touching to me.
Well, absolutely.
How about you? What's one of your favorite scenes?
Oh, it's so hard. Maybe that whole scene when Wesley's like chasing and crew, I mean, from like the inconceivable, like throughout the whole thing, when he's like, they're gaining us, and he's like, inconceivable, and he's climbing the rope, inconceivable.
So good. I thought the pacing of the film was really good. That was actually something that stood out to me watching it again, was just it moves at a nice clip.
But you still get enough of the storyline so you get to know the characters.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of one of the lamest characters is Buttercup.
Yeah, that's true. They don't develop her very much.
They don't develop her much. I mean, she's pretty much just pretty.
She's a damsel in distress. Although her story arc is basically going from despair to belief.
That's true. That's a good point.
And having faith in the undying love of Wesley.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, even when she couldn't see it. I mean, there's spiritual implications to that, too.
Absolutely.
Even when she couldn't see it, even when he wasn't right there, learning to believe in true love. And then they ended up riding away on white horses. So it worked out. I think one of my least favorite scenes is when they're in the fire swamp and Wesley's like fighting the ROUS and she's not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, do something to help him.
Whack that thing with a log.
That was probably the most frustrating part.
Yeah, I could see that. I can definitely see that.
The Princess Bride always kind of reminds me a little. Actually, I should say when I watched Willow, it reminded me a little of Princess Bride. Just like the feel of it and that kind of stuff. And so we haven't watched any more episodes of the Willow TV show yet. But I think that might have been one of the most disappointing things when we first watched it, was like the fact that it was so much not like those kinds of classic movies. And then I was just like, I felt really old, and I was like, they don't make things like they used to.
It's something about the characters and the dialogue, I think.
That must be it. There's like something more morality piece or something, because like they both kind of had these like strong moral reasons for what they were doing, and it kind of centered them and, you know, kept them on track.
Instead of being about them and just their personal wants, desires, feelings, it was about something greater than them.
Yeah, either another person or love or, you know, whatever. It's about something bigger.
And that journey changed who they were as a person.
I think that's very insightful.
I also think even though the actors were young, they played adults. They were young adults.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, they were young adults.
Something about watching Princess Bride or the original Willow, I can actually respect and take those characters seriously, even though they're flawed and even though they're a little goofy. But something about some of these newer shows being geared for younger audiences, I don't feel the same way.
Maybe we have to get someone on the show who's younger who can help us decipher this. Any takers out there, let us know. It'd be great to have someone younger, their perspective on this.
Agreed. Well, my friends, have a Merry Christmas. We love you. Next week, we may take the week off because it is Christmas and New Year's, and we have a family birthday in our house. So we'll be talking to you again in 2023.
Ooh, have a great Christmas.